What's up, everybody? It's Ty the Bourbon Guy, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to review Chattanooga whiskey, white port cask finished, straight bourbon. I think I got it all, which is also a Tennessee high malt. This particular bottle was actually sent to me from Chattanooga Whiskey, disclaimer there. This is a limited release, and they sent this one to me to try. With it being limited, I don't know how many of these there are actually out there. Limited is limited. I mean, limited could be anything. But either way, I got a chance to try this, as you can see from the bottle. Went into it a little bit, but we're gonna revisit this again today and see what my thoughts are on this. Those of you that are not familiar with Chattanooga Whiskey, they produce a lot of high malt straight bourbons. If you're not the biggest malt fan, then obviously you may not really like Chattanooga Whiskey. I myself, I thought that I wasn't a high malt fan until I had their products. Almost all of them I feel like are sleepers. The bottled and bond, I feel like not nearly enough people talk about. They have a 91, they have a 111 proof. They have a lot of different products that I already enjoy. So as I talked with them a little bit, and then obviously they sent me out this bottle, it's one of those ones where when you find a distillery that just seems to get it right more than they get it wrong, you kind of have high expectations going into it, especially when this is a limited release. So let's get right into it and let's see what I think. So the proof on this is a 95 proof. This is at least 5 years old. It's age stated on the bottle, and finishing time I believe is 2 years. The barrels themselves are toasted as well, and I do feel like that's picked up on the nose. I get plenty of sweetness, maple, honey. I do get fruit as well. The fruit I get like more of like pear, not really dessert sweetness, but there's something there. Like I said, the maple syrup, the honey, it's where those things are sweet for sure, but it's almost just a different direction than a straight up dessert. Anyway, let's try and see what we think. A whiskey, it smells one way, and then you go to taste it and it tastes completely different. This is not that situation at all. The taste for me is the nose turned up. So on the nose, I got maple syrup, I got honey, I got pears. Fruit's still kind of there, it's lingering, but the sweetness is turned up even more, and I feel like there's more of a graham cracker, I don't say crust yet, but it's like graham crackers, honey, cinnamon. we're still very much hanging in that direction. So it opens with that graham cracker, all those things I keep saying, the maple, the honey, all that stuff. But the mid palate's almost like vanilla, and it starts to evolve a little bit. It reminds me of s'mores, but I actually don't get the chocolate piece. But it reminds, like, I've never had a s'mores without chocolate, I guess. But that's what this kind of makes me think of. I don't want to say reminds me of, I've never had it, but got a balance between sweet and spice, and it keeps developing a little bit. So let's go back one last time and see. Cheers. Still one that's still developing, still has a lot of different notes that are kind of playing well together. So there's complexity there, but it's not complex that I'm going from here to here to here. It's more complexity as all these notes are hitting at one time and they're coming together, and it's almost like music. They're kind of figuring out how each instrument is playing together. I'm getting real nerdy talking about whiskey, but that's what that reminds me of. That's what that makes me think of. The finish is more of like a minty finish, but it's not minty like a rye whiskey might be. This is minty like maybe when you eat mint chocolate chip ice cream or something like that, where there's just that little bit of freshness that you feel in your mouth and in your chest or whatever it is. I kind of get that on the finish. This is one, honestly, that really surprised me. And as I said before, the bottle was open. I actually opened this up when I had some people over, and some people that are, you know, whiskey enthusiasts as well, and I just wanted them to try it. And we all tried it together, and it's one that really surprised me. And I don't know why it surprised me so much. Again, I love everything Chattanooga Whiskey does. I don't know. I guess maybe the white port. One, I didn't even know what a white port was. I knew port. With port, I start thinking of Angel's Envy or something like that, and I think we're going to go in that direction. But this does not remind me of Angel's Envy at all, really. With the proof, I think it drinks hotter than the proof. I think that it brings more flavor. I think that this is one that's, especially because it's a limited release, but I think this is one that's should be a limited release. This is one that I'm not going to grab every day or, you know, just for whatever reason. I'm going to wait for a special occasion. I'm going to wait until there's somebody that really is into whiskey to where I can pull this out and say, here, try this one. What do you think about this? This is a unique whiskey. So if you're anticipating Kentucky straight bourbon, you're going to go in a whole different direction with this. But if you have an open mind, and I say this about a few whiskeys, like if you have an open mind, especially when it comes to finishing, just go into it and just, it is what it is, and just kind of understand that this is a finished whiskey and go from there. I think you'll still have a great experience overall. So honestly, this one's hard to rate. This one's hard to rate because of the availability. I wish there was a little bit more with this. It seems like it's doing well. I enjoy it. So I don't know, maybe they'll bring more of it out in the future, or they'll continue to do this. But again, I love everything Chattanooga whiskey's done so far, and this bottle is no different. So I'm going to rate this 193 out of 100. Fantastic job, Chattanooga. I mean, we've seen the bottled in bond. We've seen a 91 proof. We've seen a 111 or a higher proof. We've seen a rye. We've seen all these different things. They had a different finish before, and I think this one just knocks it out the park. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you get a chance to try this, I hope you enjoyed as much as I did, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.